So a set of 4 new men's fragrances from Zara have just launched, and I've got them in a box here. I'm going to talk to you about them. First impressions video, but the fragrances are Lush Vetiver, Spell Caramel, Tender Amber, and Tobacco Sublime. They're created by 2 different Givaudan perfumers, Jordi Fernandez and Gael Montero, and they come in boxes like this. This is the fragrance created by Jordi Fernandez, and this was part of the last drop of the series of fragrances that are similar in boxes like this. So if you want to find out about these 4 new Zara fragrances, then please stay tuned. Thanks so much for tuning in. This is Sebastian. Yes, we're talking about 4 new fragrances from Zara, 100 ml bottles for $29.90, created by perfumers from Givaudan, Jordi Fernandez, who's done fragrances for Ex Nihilo, Maison, Crivelli, Ojar, and of course this Zara one from several months ago called Full Moon Over the Desert. It actually was one of my favorite releases from that collection of the ones that I got. And then there's Gael Montero, who's also done fragrances for Ex Nihilo, Maison, Crivelli, and of course these 2 Zara fragrances that are here. So Ex Nihilo, just a little something, only uses Givaudan perfumers. And if you recall my video I did, there were fragrances that came in white and black boxes like this. Let's see if I can focus that. All of the fragrances in these boxes were created by Givaudan according to what I remember seeing from the last batches. And all the ones that were all black boxes were created by Firmenich perfumers. I don't know if you guys know all this details, but that's exactly what it is. But the boxes here, let's go ahead and open this up. I'm hoping that they're packed a little more carefully this time, because whenever I get these Zara fragrances delivered, they seem to be just swimming around in the boxes, not packed very nicely, and there's damage to the boxes, which is a bummer. But then again, we're only paying $29.90 for these fragrances, and it seems to be packed pretty nicely this time, but it's not like perfect. As you can see, they're not like packed totally in, and so they're a little different than last time. You can see here this Full Moon Over the Desert and Tender Amber. So different presentation this time. So this is Tobacco Sublime, or Sublime I should say, not Sublime, Sublime. This is a Spell Caramel. And then we've got Lush Vetiver. So I'm rushing this video out because my editor is a little down recently, and I actually have another Zara video that's going to launch next week of another collection of 5 fragrances. But I'm doing this video because these just launched. These were announced and they just launched, and I was buying them, and then of course the editor kind of went down, and so not went down, but he's a little sick, so he's unable to edit. So I'm getting this video out before the other Zara video, which has 5 different fragrances. Anyway, so let's go ahead and start out with Lush Vetiver. This is it right here. This one is created by Gael Montero. In the back, you can see his name and of course the price. It says, a dive into the untamed beauty of nature to ignite the senses and inspire the soul. So we'll see how it is. These are eau de parfum for $29.90. And okay, it's sealed here, as you can see. Get that focused. So it means it hasn't been touched. And the last bottles, let me show you the last bottle. They were refillable, but I haven't seen any refills of these. So these bottles are refillable, as you can see, like this. So I wonder if they're going to sell refills, but these were recently being cleared out. And the other thing is, look, this is $39.90. These are $29.90. Wait, where's the thing here? So I wonder what happened with the price change. We shall see. These are refillable according to the bottles, as you can see right there. And it's the same kind of bottles right there. So price went down, which is kind of cool. I don't think the other ones, well, oh, this is pretty, this one's pretty tight. Yeah, it's refillable. But this is a pretty cheap, sprayer. So I don't know if it'll, like if you're constantly refilling it, I don't know how long it'll last. But Lush Vetiver, again, 100 ml, $29.90. Gael Montero is the perfumer. It's got notes of grapefruit, bergamot, vetiver, saffron, tobacco, patchouli, and oak. So let's go ahead and spray. How many of you have heard about this collection, and how many of you are excited about these fragrances? This is very, very fresh. The grapefruit and citrus notes up top seems to be very zingy and a bit tart, a bit astringent. I can see some dirtiness or smell some dirtiness under there. And then, of course, the vetiver is shining. And I love the combo of vetiver and grapefruit. I think they do really work wonderfully together. This is actually very, very pleasant, very fresh. I can also smell a little bit of the patchouli down there. So for $29.90, I think this is definitely worth it. And in fact, there is grapefruit vetiver from the Jo Malone collection, which I think is quite nice. But this might even be better because I like that zingy tartness of the citruses up top. And this seems a bit more complex than the grapefruit vetiver, which has been around for a while now, like 3-4 years. No, I think this is definitely solid. I'd have to wear it to see what really stands out on me. But as an expensive freshie, I think this is really nice. I love the combination of vetivers and citruses. So definitely a good creation. And this is Gael Montero. And if you guys remember, there's a fragrance that he did for the house of Maison Crivelli called Ingredients. I've been a fan of that fragrance so much that I'm hoping that they would release that as a official brand fragrance release, because it's a limited, not a limited edition, but a fragrance made for a store in the Czech Republic in Prague called Ingredients, and that's what the fragrance is. Ingredients celebrating 10 years of the store's existence. So I'm hoping that Maison Crivelli launches that fragrance for the world, because it's so tough to get. You can order it from the Maison Crivelli website, and you can get it from the Ingredients store in Prague. So anyway, that's the perfumer. I recall about his name, and he's done a great job here with this one. Now, we're not really breaking any new ground with this. Like, it's not like anything that I haven't smelled before. I smell a lot of fragrances, but some of you might smell it and go, wow, that smells great. And I think definitely he's done a great job with that one. All right, so on to a fragrance created by Jordi Fernandez. This is Spell Caramel. I'm going in alphabetical order, and then after the video, I'll tell you what my favorites are. It seems like this collection might be really great. For the price, it's great, and also the perfumers. They're known for doing really great work outside of doing fragrances for Zara. So if they're doing fragrances for other houses that charge a lot of money for their fragrances, and they're doing this good work for Zara, who sells their fragrances for really, really inexpensive, then that's saying something about that. So you don't have to really pay a lot of money to get good quality fragrances. So this one says, who can resist the enticing and pleasurable moments of life? Created by Jordi Fernandez. That's that back there. And yeah, this is Spell Caramel. So let's see how this smells. I like the idea of caramel in fragrances. What do you guys think? This one's a little ripped. I come to expect things like this from Zara. They're really inexpensive, but as long as the fragrance itself is fine, I'm happy with that. But yep, there we go. I'm surprised that they lowered the price on these fragrances, especially the fact that we paid $10 more with the last series of these fragrances. What happened? I don't get it. Which is kind of cool. Maybe, and since inflation is going down, maybe the price is going down? I don't know. But this one features notes of blood orange, ginger, cardamom, Davana, licorice, vanilla, osmanthus, and caramel. So let's see. I'm not the biggest fan of this one. It's different. Initial blast, I really love Davana and licorice in fragrances. Something about it is rubbing me the wrong way. First of all, there's a laundry-like smell along with bubblegummy smell at the same time. So I'm like at a laundromat washing clothes and popping bubble bubbles from my bubblegum. That's a strange kind of a smell. But, yeah, I'm uncertain about this one. I don't like the combination. I really love licorice. Really absolutely love it. Grew up eating it. Love it in fragrances. But this one is weird. Not a bad weird, just I feel like the notes are kind of contrasting too much and not really working together. But if you like the idea of bubblegum, I don't know why I'm getting bubblegum and laundromat, like very clean laundry, soap, washing, things like that. More actually, I should say the dryer, in the dryer sheets when there's like the dryer sheet that's drying the clothing. There's that kind of a smell, but with bubblegum. But yeah, I'm not sure about this one. This one is kind of weird, but good at the same time. So I'm not really certain if I really like it or do not like it. It's a weird mixture for sure. So this one's an uncertain one for me. Who knows? It might grow on me, but as of now, I prefer the previous fragrance more. But then again, you know, things change. And maybe you guys like Spell Caramel more than Lush Vetiver. Who knows? Things are all over the place with our tastes and, you know, with our things that we like and do not like. All right, so we're going back to the work of Gael Montero. This is Tender Amber, this one right here. So it looks like, since I'm going in alphabetical order, it's Gael Montero, Jordi Fernandez, Gael Montero, Jordi Fernandez. This one says, feel the gentleness and refinement of an inviting ambery embrace. So that's Gael Montero's fragrance, $29.90. Yeah, I'm surprised at the price change. If anybody knows what's going on, do let me know. I like the fact that they're less expensive and not as expensive as the last collection. Although I remember the last collection of this series, the fragrances were discounted for a bit, and I found some that were marked down to like 19 or something. So I saved about 20 bucks. But the first batch I bought were $39.90. So again, if you don't recall me, you don't recall hearing me, these are refillable bottles, so that's a good thing. But where are the refills? So this is Tender Amber. Definitely doesn't have the color of amber, the juice, as what I'm talking about. It's kind of a bluish, sky blue colored juice. So amber? But the notes are amber, rose, tuberose, exotic fruits, and black currant. Does that sound good to you guys? Let's smell. It's a bummer with the last one, Spell Caramel. Oh my god, this is so different for an amber. It's fresh and fruity. This is actually fun. And even though they don't mention woods, I'm getting like a dusting of woods with this very fresh, fruity floral combo. Rose and tuberose and exotic fruits and black currant, very fruity floral. And I feel like the amber in here is more like Ambroxan, because Ambroxan has that kind of dusty, dry, woody characteristic along with its ambery touches and its light aquatic or marine touches, and of course the muskiness. This one's actually kind of nice. Not really amber, the syrupy, honeyed, kind of warm, vanillic, resinous amber, but to me this is more like Ambroxan. But definitely pleasant. So far, 2 from Gael Montero I liked. This is Tender Amber. And then last but not least, we've got Tobacco Sublime, this one right here. So this one says, wrapped in refined vanilla and tobacco sublime, a trail of sensuality amplified by amber woods. Jordi Fernandez. So this is the one I was really, really interested in, because I love anything tobacco smelling with fragrances. And the fact that it has vanilla and patchouli, that combination should be really, really great. I'm bummed I didn't care for Spell Caramel. And again, it might grow on me and it might not, but this is Tobacco Sublime. So Tobacco Sublime features notes of tobacco, vanilla, iris, patchouli, and amber woods. Let's go and smell it. I'm really, really hoping this is going to be a good one. Keeping my fingers crossed in my mind, since I am spraying here. I like what I'm smelling. But this is pretty subdued. It's not really jumping out. Really nice. I'm not getting a very distinct tobacco, but I'm getting the vanilla, the patchouli, the amber touches. It's definitely powdery, and it's developing really, really nicely. Really nicely. So this one I need to spray on my hands because it's really not jumping off the strip. Oh boy, it smells really, really great. It also smells very refined. It doesn't... Sometimes Zara fragrances seem like they're not blended really nicely. Some notes stand out, like when you're smelling them, like you're hit with some notes really loudly when other notes are more calmer. But this one smells really, really great. I'm not saying this is the best tobacco fragrance I've smelled, but I like it. I really like it. I think even though this is kind of subdued, I would probably rank this at the highest because I like this scent profile the most out of all of the others. So Tobacco Sublime, definitely my favorite of the bunch. And again, I don't know if you guys will get a subdued reaction to this in comparison to other fragrances and how it's performing with me, because it's really kind of calm, not necessarily loud. And I don't like that about it. I like fragrances to jump out. And this is the one that I was really, really excited about. But what I would go with next is Lush Vetiver. That would be my second favorite from this batch. I really like that citric touch and then also the leather. But, you know, it's very close to Tender Amber. The Tender Amber is a different kind of amber. It's a very fresh amber, but also with loads of ambroxan. So I'm not sure which one I would go with number 2, actually, come to think of it. What the Lush Vetiver has dried down to seems a bit boring. It's pretty much dried down to the vetiver. And then here with the Tender Amber, it's a little more exciting. It's definitely very fruity and floral and ambery. Let's try the Spell Caramel again. Yeah, I don't care for Spell Caramel. No. This is a weird smell. I mean, not a bad smell, just a weird kind of a combo of notes. I'm not really getting a lot of caramel unless maybe I wear it. Maybe I'll wear that one, and since I'm not really reacting positively to it, I'll check it out here. No, I don't care for this one. I don't know why I'm getting bubblegum and laundromat. Dryer sheets. Very, very interesting. But yeah, the Tobacco Sublime is nice. And again, these are all definitely not necessarily like wow kind of fragrances. I feel like when these perfumers working for these big firms create fragrances that are really inexpensive for places like Zara, they are not using the most expensive ingredients and materials. So you can kind of tell that they're not like the most amazing. But, you know, there are the rare occasions that the fragrances turn out really nice. The tobacco is quite nice. Not my favorite tobacco, but the best out of the bunch. Just wish it was a little louder. The Spell Caramel seems pretty loud. And maybe because I don't like that smell. And sometimes when I don't like things, they really stand out too much. Because my nose is not appreciating it. Yeah, I don't care for the Spell Caramel whatsoever. And then in regards to Tender Amber, Lush Vetiver, it's a toss-up. I think I'm appreciating Tender Amber just a little more, so I would go like this. So the Tobacco Sublime is not my number 1 favorite. Tender Amber, number 2 favorite. Lush Vetiver, number 3 favorite. Spell Caramel, way down at the bottom. I don't really like it. No. Anyway, those are my thoughts on these new Zara fragrances for men. Have you gotten your nose on these fragrances yet? Do let me know. Put a comment down. And after watching me let you know about these 4 fragrances, which one sounds the best to you. The one thing I should say about Tender Amber, though, it does lean a little feminine out of the collection because it's such a pronounced fruity floral style. I think it'll definitely appeal to the ladies. But again, there's no rules. Even though these are targeted to men, I think they can totally be worn by women. Another fragrance that I had recently bought from Zara called Surfing Puerto Escondido, part of the men's collection of fragrances. I feel it's very unisex, if not even feminine leaning. So again, there's no rules. Wear what you want when you want. But do let me know which sounds great to you. What do you think about the fragrances and the price change from $39 to down to $29.90? And if you're going to rush out to check these out. So I ordered these online because I have a hard time finding them in store, and they were delivered really quickly. Like in 2 days I received them, so it was a pretty quick delivery. Anyway, thanks so much for watching today's video. If you have any questions or comments, please do list below. Please like this video, please share it, follow me on Instagram and Facebook, and I'll be back with more videos very soon. Have a good one. Goodbye. Alright guys, bad news. Now that I've had Spell Caramel on my hand, this is the one that actually clings on and doesn't even go away, and it's the one I dislike the most. This smells to me like a very cheap designer men's fragrance, or maybe even a woman's fragrance, because it's very, very sweet and bubblegummy. And remember when I was shooting the video, I said it smells like bubblegum and also laundry at the same time, more like dryer sheets being dried. There's a warmth about it, but just very kind of laundry smell, clean and also bubblegummy flowers. I really don't like this fragrance whatsoever. This is actually the worst out of the bunch, but this is the one that's lingering on forever. I mean, the tobacco is on the other hand, and it's gotten very, very faint, and it's gotten very woody. Unfortunately, it's kind of a nondescript kind of a tobacco, and all I smell are some like warmth, a bit of vanillic touches, very powdery, and woods. So unfortunately, this one also is not very exciting. I mean, I know you get what you pay for, and these might satisfy some people that are, you know, mostly buying inexpensive fragrances, and I think I prefer Tobacco Sublime over Spell Caramel, especially when you first spray it. Even though it's subdued, I feel like when it's drying down, it becomes a very boring, woody, sweet, powdery, vanillic thing. So that is a disappointment. I haven't really tested out Tender Amber and Lush Vetiver on hand yet, but maybe I will have to do that and report back further. But as far as strips go, definitely the Tender Amber is fruity floral, but that ambroxan thing is on the base as well. And I feel like Lush Vetiver might be the best out of the bunch. It smells really, really great. It smelled great when you first spray it. The dry down did get boring when I came back to it in the original video. And then, now that it's dried down, it smells even better. I like the combination of that zingy citrus along with the grassy vetiver. So anyway, this just some more information about this new collection of fragrances from Zara. I suggest go in and smell, but if you end up blind buying, they're not going to break the bank, especially since they're now $10 less than the previous bunch that was launched.